Peace. Greetings. Greetings. Welcome. Welcome, one and all. Let's get back up in here. Welcome. Today is Thursday. It is May the 21st. May the 21st. Now, the 21st, if we are rocking with our brothers and sisters of the nation of the gods and the earths, they would tell you something about the mathematics and what is today's science. And so today's math is 21, which that's a 3. So supreme mathematics states that the number 3 is understanding. 1 is knowledge, 2 is wisdom, 3 is understanding. So when you add the days, the numbers, 2 and 1, that's a 3. So today we're here to get understanding, or should I say overstanding. Okay. 3 is also the number associated with communication, messages. So today we're going to be talking really deep. We're going to be talking about something very, very, very important, very pertinent. And we want to make sure that everybody gets this message, because you may have heard the message before. You may have heard a little something about the topic before, but I can guarantee you that you've never heard it like this. So let us know. Hola, hola, peace, peace, grace and peace. Sister Denise, Sister Julie, welcome. Again, we're going to be talking about an amazing topic. Make sure that you go ahead and share this video. When my moderators get in the room, make sure that y'all let everybody know to get the likes up, because this is going to be a very good topic. For those of you that wind up joining the live or joining or catching the video after the live, that's all right. Better late than never, right? The most important thing is that you get the message. We're not concerned about numbers. We're concerned about souls. Let me say that one more time. We're not concerned about numbers. We're concerned about souls. So that means who is meant to vibrate with us and lock in right now is meant to get the message. Who is meant to get it later will get it later. I just have this thing about not planning things out. I got to kind of go in the moment, go in the spirit. And so as we are, let me make sure what's going on over here. Okay. As we're making sure that we are getting the message out, that's the most important thing. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about where most evil spirits come from. Not all evil spirits. This is not going to be an authoritative discussion about all evil spirits, the origin of all evil spirits. I'm going to be talking a little bit tonight about where most evil spirits come from, where they are derived, how they are used against you, and what are some of the things that you can do to free yourself or protect yourself from such energies. Right? It's going to be very important. So as you're sharing the video, as we're waiting for a few more people to come into the room, go ahead and get your notepads out, get your everything. Can everybody hear me? Let me know if you all can hear me. Show me something in the chat if you all can hear me. Let me know if you all can hear me. Can everybody hear me in the chat? That was a little loud. Can everybody hear me? Yes, yes, yes. Appreciate that, Ganja Cat. Okay. Now, while we're waiting on a couple more people to get in the room, let's go ahead and y'all know me. It's been a minute since I warmed up the energy with a song. Yes, JC the Goddess. Welcome. Come on up in here. It's been a little minute. But let's warm this up.
Most High here I know Exhibir Adonai. Most High I come as I am, no desire, so I call on your name, Exhibir Adonai. Not in fear, no, but knowing that you're on high. I call on your name, Exhibir Adonai. The foundation of truth where my spirit resides. Most High, you see my days when I'm strong, and when I lose my way, you've been there before my first cry, and you'll be there when this flesh passes by. So I call on your name, Exhibir Adonai. In the morning light and in the demon night, I call on your name, Exhibir Adonai. You are the root of the root, you are the reason why. Adonai, 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 Adonai. Me say again, Most High.
You know what I realized? Let me go ahead and pause that up. You know what I realized? I realized that the negative spirits that are attached to you all do not want you to get free. The negative spirits, the negative entities, the negative powers that be dwelling within your life do not want you to get free. So right now, you're going to have to make a declaration that you are determined to get free by any means necessary, whatever it takes. You're not playing no games with spirit, because see, these spirits are not playing any games with you, right? That's going to be the most important thing to recognize, is that the spirits are not playing games. Anytime we want to come together and break chains and break shackles and break people out of spiritual prisons, there's always going to be some energy that does not want people to get free, right? You have to demand your freedom. You have to claim back your freedom. You have to claim back your sovereignty, right? And you have to realize that the only way to rid yourself of such spirits and some people call them demons, and certain demonic entities that are ripping through your life, like ripping your life to shreds, you have to be able to face your fears, right? You have to be able to look these spirits, and you have to really be able to stand in a certain power and authority that only comes from on high. All right. So we're going to be unpacking some things today, because I really, 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 really want you all to get free, because there are things that are going on. There are devices that are being used against you that if nobody ever teaches you and nobody ever lets you know that these things are out there and these things exist, you're going to go off, going back and forth to your church, going back and forth to your mosque, doing your little magic, burning your candles, doing all of these things, not realizing that this is child's play to a lot of these spirits. This is child's play to a lot of these spirits. So for most of you all that believe in ancestors and you believe in positive, benevolent spirits, then you also must know that if this is a realm of duality, I'm talking about the third dimensional reality, then you must also be aware that just as there are good positive spirits, your ancestors, so to speak, your angels, all of these things, there are definitely evil spirits and evil entities, not only that are out there to wreak havoc in your life, but can be contracted. That can be contracted, that can be called upon, that can be summoned, right? On a I call them workers of iniquity, evil workers, people that want to use these things, right, to harm you, to come against you. So we're going to talk about these things, because you got to call it out. You got to face it, and you got to call it out. All of these different spirits, you got to call them out. Once you're able to call them out and identify them, they have less and less power over your life. One more time. Once you're able to identify them and call them out, they have less power over your life. But as long as you're walking around oblivious, as long as you're walking around, I'm covered, I'm protected, and all of these things. Well, if you're so covered and you're so protective, how come your life is still in shambles? How come all of these weapons that are being formed against you are literally prospering? Is because there's a knowledge that you don't have. You're walking in an ignorance that is detrimental. You're walking in an ignorance that is dangerous. So again, you might have heard a little bit about this topic, but you have not heard it like this. So let's get into it. First and foremost, I want to talk about tonight 3 levels of magic, or 3 levels of spiritual entities, 3 levels of things that can be used against you. And yes, for my church goers, yes, for my Muslim brothers and sisters, yes, for my Rastafarian brothers and sisters, yes, for all of you out there who believe that because you run in your building or your sanctuary, right, that you are somehow um exempt or eliminated from such things coming against you. Like you feel like because you go to your church that you can't be attacked. Don't you know that most attacks happen to people that are supposed to be walking a holy walk or a righteous walk? Just because you're trying to do the right thing and live the right thing in life, there's going to be some outside entity or some outside force that is going to be in opposition to that. Those are your real ops, right? So whether a lot of these negative spirits or evil spirits have come to you through inherited family bloodline, or whether they have come to you through your own um, dabbling in magic and mysticism and all of these things, unaware of how some of these things can actually trick you, because some of these spirits are as old as time. Some of these spirits were around since the beginning of earth, and we're going to talk about them, right? Right. So don't think that because you walk around with your Bible or your Quran, or you're chanting, your odus and all of these things, that you are exempt from spiritual attack, from the type of attack that I'm going to be talking about, from the type of spirits that are the ancient. These are some ancient old spirits, and we're going to talk about that tonight. Now, let's look at this. When you look at magic, most people that work magic, right? Whether you call yourself a good work of magic, or what you call it, a white witch, a black witch, iyami, you know, all of these things, there are guidelines, there are rules. So let's break this down, right? You have earthly or terrestrial magic. Go ahead and get your notepads out because class is in session. Get your notepads out because class is in session, right? So when we talk about these spirits, you have terrestrial spirits, right? That's earth magic. Spirits that are can be summoned from the earth. They exist either in the earth realm or very close to the earth realm. They are easily accessible to earthlings. That's terrestrial magic, earth magic, working with the earth. Then you have celestial magic or celestial beings. Let's call them, instead of calling it magic, even though they are the different levels that magicians and witches and priestesses and priests and all of these people work with, right? Let's also look, let's call them spirits. So you have earth spirits or terrestrial spirits, you have celestial spirits. Now, your celestial spirits, 9 times out of 10, for those of you that believe in things like angels, you consider those to be celestial beings. Some of you believe in guardians and spirit guides that are of higher dimensions. All right. So these would be considered celestial beings, powers, principalities, all of these things that exist in a far realm outside of earth. Now, remember that when we are talking about the different realms and dimensions, it is layers, right? Most of the time we hear about third dimension, which is the dimension that we occupy, or we hear about the fourth dimension, which is right above us, where spirits, ancestors, you could still easily access as a human being through your consciousness. You can also access fourth dimension have fourth dimensional experiences. Some of you even fifth dimensional, right? But the dimensions go on and on and on and on. So as you get further away from our realm or our reality, there you have celestial beings. But hold on, there are some other beings that we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about aquatic beings. See, most of you all get all, squishy gushy on the inside. Oh, I love me some mermaids. I love the Little Mermaid. You know, most of you know about the mermaids. Most of you know about the sirens. Most of you know about these spiritual entities and gods and goddesses that are of water. Right. I was there not too long ago, going to the lake and, honoring Oshun and offering Oshun up some honey or some oranges, or, going to the ocean and prostrating on the sand, in front of Yemulja. Right. Most of you have heard of Mami Watsa. Right. So we are familiar and we are aware of different well, who do you have over here in over here in these European people's place? You have Neptune, you have all of these other aquatic, type gods and goddesses, and there are so many, right? But now when we talk about evil spirits and where they dwell, many of you have heard about the marine kingdom. It is talked about in your extra, how would I say this extra Western or outside of the Western theology. You will hear a lot of Christian people talk about the marine kingdom. And it's always puzzled me how African Christianity is vastly different than westernized Christianity. See, westernized Christianity has been diluted so terribly bad that most people that go to church will never hear about spirits in the marine kingdom and how they affect you and why their life is torn up because your pastor doesn't know about it. Why do people in Africa talk a little bit more about it? Because most of these Christian pastors and people, all you got to do is watch them and listen to what they're saying. They are blending, a lot of them, they are blending traditional knowledge with Christian theology. And so this is why in your most of your African Christian churches and different things like that, you will hear them speak about things of the marine kingdom. But you and I have always known about water spirits, water deities, water gods and goddesses. We have always done this. Many of you have already known about water magic. Many of you already know that water is the essence of life. Many of you talk about, your water spirits and different things like that. But I want to give you a different perspective tonight, because when we talk about the water and when we talk about the water spirits, we have to have a serious discussion. We have to have a serious conversation. So I want to have a real conversation with you all. Okay. And I'm not trying to bring forth a fear-based teaching. That's not what I'm about. But I do like to let you all know what the really real deal is, right? When we for example, hear the term evil spirits, right? What are we talking about? What are we talking about when we talk about evil spirits? It makes it seem like some of these forces, they're only meant to harm you, destroy you, take from you. And I'm not saying that these harmful spiritual forces don't exist, because they do. But when you look at the word evil, I think that it's been overused and misused to describe things that people just really don't understand. Not every spirit is good, not every spirit is bad. And not every spirit is even thinking about you and where you are in life. Some spirits are elemental, as we spoke about, water spirits, earth spirits, fire spirits, spirits of the wind, right? Some are ancestral. Some are your ancestral spirits. Some spirits your ancestors have been working with for decades and even long before you were even thought of, right? So some of these spirits you inherited. Some spirits, watch this, When you talk about some of these demons that you all are living with, some of these spirits are created through your intense emotion or your trauma. Did you know that your trauma can actually create a negative, low vibrating spiritual entity or energetic attachment, or even your repeated negative thoughts? Right? Some of these so called evil spirits or evil spirits are also energies that exist within certain realms. Right? And so, what you have to understand is that the way that the spirit shows up is often, most of the time, predicated upon how that spirit is engaged, how you feed it, how you interact with it, right? So when you sit back and ask yourself, is this evil? The better question to ask yourself is, okay, what is this? Where is it coming from? How is it operating in my life? Okay. Now, this term marine spirits definitely gets thrown around a lot. I'm going to be honest with you, because it's one of these topics where a lot of times, especially, you might see videos online, people talking about it, whatever, good for them, right? Let me know that y'all in the comments. Show me some fire signs. Let me know that you all are in the comments, right? Because the only way to burn out some of these marine kingdom spirits is to burn them out. Is to burn them out, right? So what are marine spirits? What are marine intelligences or marine spirits? They're water associated intelligences. Write that down. Water associated intelligences, right? These spirits are more time connected to the ocean, the rivers, the lakes, and guess where else they can come get you at? In the womb. The womb. Because the womb from which you've come is a body of water. Your mother's amniotic fluid, her amniotic sac. You got to sit with that for a minute. The womb is water. Life begins in water, right? Emotion, we attribute emotion to water. When we talk about the subconscious, the female energy, we're talking about water. So when we talk about the marine energy, right? And then you can kind of look at like maritime law and different things. So this marine thing is really, really real. Like, think about how many people have stated they have actually seen mermaids. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to believe in old cities like Atlantis and all of that are now underwater, but they're always finding things. Why is it that you as a human can't communicate with a dolphin? Why do you think that is? That it's illegal to communicate with dolphins. Did you know that? Because they're super highly intelligent beings. Okay. So when we talk about marine energy, we're not only talking about something outside of you, we're talking about something that deeply connects to you and your inner world. Right. So these energies can be manifested as your intuition, power. Guess what else is connected to marine spirits? Wealth currents, because they say that money, wealth, abundance is a current, is an energy, and water move like a current, doesn't it? Your own emotional intelligence, and also spiritual contracts that we have made. And sometimes you have to go through a process of voiding these spiritual contracts that we've gotten ourselves in, because a lot of times when we first step into something, it's so overly glamorized, and it's so ooh this and ooh that. But we have no idea that what we are dealing with is oftentimes thousands or hundreds of thousands year old spirits. So that same energy, when you invite it into your life, it could come up as illusion, emotional instability, unhealthy attachments. When you look at illusion, a mirror is also kind of patterned after water, because you can see your reflection in water, right? Not everything in your life is a marine spirit, right? But there are a lot of things that I feel like that if you knew about it, you can move differently. So when we talk about water, man, water is the prima materia. It's the prima materia. It's one of the most powerful spiritual elements there is. Why? Because water holds memory. Water carries intention. Water amplifies whatever you put into it. You put red food coloring in it, it's red water. You put salt in it, it's salt water. You put sugar in it, it's sugar water. You put dirt in it, it's dirty water, right? So we use water for what in our lives? For cleansing, for prayer, for ritual, for communication. They call holy water holy water. Why do they call holy water? Why? Because somebody prayed on it. Do you know the prayer that is prayed over water before it is made holy water? Do you know that a part of the prayer to make holy water is to exercise, watch this, to exercise any unclean spirit. Now, why? She warming up right now. Listen, listen. Why would the Roman Catholic Church, right? Watch this. Why would the Roman Catholic Church feel a need to exorcise unclean spirits out of the water to make holy water if there wasn't unclean spirits in the water? Huh? See, hey, listen, whatever you put into that water, if you have intention behind it, that intention could be carried. This is why a lot of rituals take place at the ocean front or at the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside, gonna lay down. You see me? Everybody knows about the water. What you got to do? You got to get baptized, because when they dip you down in the water, they're supposed to be washing you from the unclean spirit, and then you're supposed to come up a new vessel. I mean, I don't know. See, so this is where we begin to unlock and understand the different types of spiritual work. See, when you're dealing with celestial beings, remember I said you have celestial beings, you have terrestrial beings or earthly beings, and you have aquatic beings. When you're dealing with the celestial beings or celestial work, that's dealing with the stars, the planets, divine time and alignment, all of that stuff, right? And the way that it, how does it operate? Through alignment. You happen to be in alignment. You ain't really got to do nothing like with the earth like you do with earth magic. You just have to be in perfect alignment. Now, when you're dealing with the terrestrial beings or the earth work or the earth magic, that's going to deal with your herbs, your roots, your minerals, and anything within the physical realm. Oftentimes, why do they call it grounding? Because you're dealing with the ground. Did you know that you can talk to the earth? Did you know that you can talk to the earth around where you live at and tell that earth to protect you? Why did God give man, wombed man, a dominion over the earth, and we don't even exercise that dominion and that power? And if we do, we doing it in a negative way. And here's the thing about Mother Earth, Mother Gaia, that is, you take something from her like a thief that she hasn't given to you, that you haven't given permission, and you don't give back. Listen, you're going to give it up some kind of way. Let me know if I'm saying something true or if I'm saying something erroneous. If you take from this earth and you don't give something back, the earth is going to take it from you one way or another. But when you talk about this water work, this marine magic, see, it's fluid. It can move, right? A lot of rituals take place near running water. Water can adapt to whatever you know, and it's going to connect to the emotional and spiritual aspect of who you are. That water can heal, but it can also be used to influence depending on the intention behind it. Water is kind of like that bridge from you to spirit. Now, the fact that see, those of you that have practiced Wicca, witchcraft, rituals, different things like that. And some of you may have never practiced things that are such, and maybe you have maybe even become victim or fallen victim to such type of magic, evil, or witchcraft unknowingly, because you do know that somebody could take something from you and you don't know it, right? There's a story about Christ and the woman at the well, and she kind of touched, the hem of his garment without his permission, and instantly, he felt it leave from him. Right? When you look at magic and the fact or the idea that somebody could take your picture, put it in a bottle, and throw that in a lake. I remember maybe over 20 some odd years ago, I had learned a spell called a get away from me spell, where you were supposed to take the person name, write the, I'm not going to get off into that because I'm not here to teach anybody or dispel any information that certain people don't supposed to have. But there's these spells and rituals that you can do. I'm talking about 20 years ago. I didn't even know much of what I was doing, right? But you people would take a jar, a photo, name, personal item, put it in a jar or a bottle. And so why are they putting it in a jar or a bottle? For containment. Containment. They're not trying to heal you or cleanse you with the water. They are trying to contain your spirit. And this is how people's spirit get trapped underwater, and you don't even know that somebody got a bottle under the ocean that they threw at the ocean doing a ritual, right? And threw you at the bottom of the water. And now it's up to you and your ancestors to pray that that bottle break or that bottle bust or a shark come through and bite it and free your picture from that. I mean, it happens. You all don't have to take my word for it, but you gotta be made aware of certain things that's out there so that you can understand what happened. Many traditions all over the world, different people, different tribes, different groups have all of these different symbolic practices where they use the representation of somebody, and they can put that in water, right? But here's the thing. When a person is doing spiritual work, right? Even when they do it against you, and I'm not telling you this for you to be afraid. I'm telling you this for you to be able to have knowledge, because once you have knowledge and your eyes have been open, right? Once I touch you with this knowledge and now your eyes have been open, now you can walk in the authority and power that it takes to, and the discipline, because you also got to have discipline, right? You can walk in the authority and the power that it takes to protect yourself, because spiritual work is going to require more than you lighting a candle, you saying a prayer, or you laying down your sword and shield down by the riverside. You have to have authority, you have to have alignment, and you have to have access to the spirit, brothers and sisters, dear sisters and brothers. And so what people don't talk about enough is that certain influence requires a point of entry. It requires vulnerability. Somebody got to catch you slipping. Don't be caught slipping. Repetition. They're going to keep doing it, keep doing it. And also on your part, when you're not aware, so that lack of awareness that you have gives that person, especially again, if they have access, right? And you don't know, how do they get access? Because you don't talk too much about your business. You don't went and seen some reader or some spiritual person that's claiming that they're gonna be able to do this and do that. And what they need your daddy's last name. They need your mama's maiden name. They get all this information on you because lineage is the key, baby. If they can attack your lineage, they not only got you, but they got your children. And if you don't hurry up and wake up, then they got your children's children. You understand me? So these people don't automatically have power over you because they decided to do something with your picture or you write your name on a piece of paper or any of that stuff, but they had access some type of way. How can the strong man be bonded in his own house unless he lets somebody in and say, hey, bind me up, bind me up? And so this is very important for you to recognize, because you need to activate your discernment. You need to activate your discernment, right? Because we in spiritual warfare out here. Now, not everything is spiritual warfare. Some things are emotional patterns. Again, some things are life lessons that you have to learn. Some things is just simply because we're human, and and we got to navigate this life experience is what it is. So when we mislabel and call something that's not a spade, we're not really doing the real work. The real protection has to come in, not from you being feared, but from you walking in your power and your authority. You don't have to be trying to constantly figure out who is doing something to you. But believe me, family, I was obsessed. Y'all listen to your mentor, listen to your teacher. I was obsessed with getting to the bottom of who was behind my spiritual attack for a very long time. I'm talking about I went quiet, I went silent, I went to the deepest, darkest depths of my soul and connected with spirit because I wanted to know why. Why? Because I wanted to exact revenge. I wanted to do whatever they did to me, I wanted to do it 10 times over. But in that obsession, I wasn't allowing myself to heal. I was actually bringing myself down to the same level that these people were, not realizing at the time that all I had to do was raise my frequency. Come on now. All I had to do was raise my frequency. Huh? Because when I was able to raise my frequency, then I made myself untouchable to the enemy. Now, I mean, that don't mean that I didn't leave it to my ancestors, because next time I come up here and talk, I'm going to talk to you about the destiny swap and how I know the people that destiny swapped me, but I done took mine back. I got mine back, baby. And let me tell you something. When I took it back from who took it from me, the spirit of the Most High God, the spirit of the Most High Creator, right, showed me. Hello, somebody. Right? The spirit of the Most High Creator showed me who done it. Did you hear what I said? I said when you connect it and when you raise your frequency, you put yourself on a frequency where you have eyes. You have eyes in the back of your head. You have eyes on either side of you, and you have eyes directly in front of you that is going before you even get to start your journey. They're already on their way to do the work for you. But spirit will show you who done it. They will show you why they done it. And then if you just sit back, like my granny used to say, if I hold my peace and let the Lord fight my battles, victory shall be mine. Come on, Granny, talk tonight. Because let me tell you something. Listen, you could fight. And guess what you're doing when you're fighting? You're exerting all of that energy that you can be using to heal yourself, energy that you can be using to become prosperous, energy that you can be using to level up in your life. You got to spend all this energy now fighting against some evil spirit that some jealous person has sent to you. But hold on. I just want you to know that when you are rooted and aware and aligned, you can't be easily moved. So I don't want you to be afraid. I want you to be aware, right? So also when we talk about this awareness, when we talk about the marine kingdom and how they can get to you, and let's talk about the evil spirits and why I say that most of them come from and live in the water. Come on, somebody. Come on, somebody. Listen. I said most spirits, like our origin as human beings, we were brought forth from the waters of our mother's womb. This earth has a womb. Now, watch you know about the waters. First of all, you know the story. You all know the story. If you got a Bible or your granny's Bible or anybody's Bible, you know that there was a time when the fallen angels made love with the women of earth. See, there's a whole earth history that you're not taught about. But so these fallen angels had babies with these women of earth, and you all know what they were called. They were called the Nephilim, were they not? And they was just these giants. They was just rummaging through the earth. They was eating people. They was causing havoc. They was, the ones that they liked and they took a liking to, right? They would teach humankind all of these different things. So I guess God was up there somewhere, sitting on the throne, saying, you know what? Yeah, watch what I do to y'all. I didn't create. See, these beings were not of the spirit of the Most High. They were not created. They were created from an evil, wicked union, a forbidden union, like creating these demigods, right? Half celestial being, half terrestrial being, right? And so, again, the things and the acts that these evil beings were carrying out. Okay, so let me just get to the bottom line. How did they get to the water? Because when the flood happened, now this is a story, if you choose to believe it, but we're going to try to make some sense and put two and two together here. So these Nephilims, these giants, apparently, hello, darling, hello, Black Kitty, agreed. Many people, many scholars agree across the board, right, that when this flood happened, remember, supposedly only Noah's family was safe. His family, the animals two by two. We've all heard these stories in Sunday school from the time we was youths, right? So this flood, and don't forget now, it's not just in your Christian and your Westernized and your grandmother's Bible. Remember about the Epic of Gilgamesh, right? We're talking about stories that have spanned across the world, across cultures, and across groups of people. You got the Epic of Gilgamesh. You have so many stories about this great flood, this great, epidemic, this thing that happened. So although when this flood happened and all of these evil spirits, because the creator God who evidently created the world said, look, I don't like what's going on, I'm going to erase this and I'm going to start again. Noah, take your people, y'all going to land over here on a rock or whatever, and then you're going to repopulate the world. Now, some of these stories, I can't wrap my mind totally around, but some of these stories definitely serve as a good directional, meaning pointing you in the right direction of getting some sort of understanding. You just got to learn how to not, when you're reading certain texts, try not to read them as a juvenile. Try not to read it as a fifth grader, right? Pray and ask for discernment. Meditate on any text that you read and ask for your spirit. Ask for your third eye to be open, wide open, and ask for discernment so that what you're getting is going to serve your soul and serve your spirit. Because what's going to happen is you're going to open certain texts, and because you're not in a place to receive what it really means, you're going to actually take everything literal, and everything that was written was not meant to be taken literal. Okay, now I digress. So these beings, everything got flooded out. So yes, their physical bodies drowned, but where did their spirits go? Listen, if they physical bodies drowned, hmm, in this worldwide catastrophic flood, and they in the ocean somewhere, where did they spirits go? Did they spirits inhabit the octopus? Did they spirits inhabit the sharks? Did they spirits yeah, they spirits definitely did inhabit the octopus. The octopus is dangerous with 8 arms, and each one of those arms has a brain. An octopus is dangerous. I mean, they are dangerous. You do not want to get squeezed by one of them, right? So if these what are they called? These Nephilims and all these evil wicked beings was on the earth with all these evil wicked intentions, and they got drowned and they went in the ocean, they spirits, because remember, energy never dies, it just changes form. So their physical bodies died. Hold on, I got a bigger one for you. Watch this. There's also another story in the Bible where all of these evil spirits was just, attacking this man. You know, spirits on top of evil spirits tormenting. Where did the evil spirits get cast into? The pork, the pigs, the swine. And what happened to the swine after? Come on, somebody. They was driven over the cliff and into what? Somebody tell me if you know the story. Where did the pigs go after the demons or the evil spirits was cast into the pigs? Somebody tell me if you know the story. Where did the pigs go? All right. Now, that's not the only one. Or those aren't the only two. We can talk about the Nephilim. We can talk about the pigs, the swine that was cast over the cliff and into the water. That's where they went, into the water, for those that don't know the story. But guess what else? What about your ancestors? That's right, M. Dane. That's right, Sister Denise, into the water. But what about your ancestor that was brought over here through the Middle Passage? What about your ancestors that was thrown off of ships during the transatlantic slave trade or the sub-Saharan slave trade, or how many other slave trades that were out there? Do you think for one single solitary moment that if your ancestor, right, was tossed over a ship into the ocean, do you think that they died with a happy spirit? Do you think for 1 minute that they died feeling good? Do you think that when that spirit went into the water that it was a happy spirit? No. Anger, pain, chaos, all of these different things. So there's another group of low vibrating spirits that inhabit the ocean. So you got the pigs that all the demons was. So you see this pattern. What about people? What about people who have been unalived and somebody took and threw their body into the ocean? Do you think that when these people were unalived, like I say, prematurely before their time, or in a heinous type of way where they were violated very, very badly, very terribly, and then they somebody dumped their body off into the ocean? Do you think that that's a happy spirit, or do you think that that's a negative spirit? And when these spirits go unacknowledged, uncared for, nobody thinks about you no more, nobody talks about you no more, then these spirits walk around here with an attitude. You see where they come from. You see where they come from. So it can't be that difficult for you to believe what I'm saying about the marine kingdom, and how listen, I got a bigger one for you. How many of you know about a beast called Leviathan? Hello, somebody. How many of you heard about a beast called the Leviathan? It's a water dragon. It's a water dragon. And if your biblical text speaks about, listen, where did it come from? There's also some book in the Bible that talk in Revelation that talks about some spirit coming out of the water that had the body of a leopard, the mouth of a lion, the feet like a bear, and all of these different things. Where did it came out the water? Where's these things coming from? And one more time, let me spin the block for a minute. Why does the Roman Catholic Church, a part of their prayer to make holy water is to exorcise any evil spirits that's in the water? They also exorcise the salt as well. But there wouldn't be a need to exorcise the water if there weren't evil spirits dwelling in the water. You think just because you buy your water bottled up in the grocery store that's good water? You better pray over everything that you get. You better get you a transmutation plaque and put it on that transmutation plaque, and change the negative ions and different things. And you better meditate, and you better pray over anything that you consume. Anything that you consume. We just consume, so it don't matter what it is. We out in the car, and we don't even we pull up at the drive-through. We don't even take a minute to say a prayer over our food. Why? Because you trust the people in there wasn't putting boogers and stuff in your food, coughing and hawking a loogie on your burger. You just trust people so much. That makes sense, M. Dane. I don't deny it. Let me show this comment. But that makes sense what I'm saying though, right? That absolutely makes sense what I'm saying though. Is that you've had different types of ways that spirits can get in the water and inhabit the water. So you had the Leviathan. Then you could go back. There's another what's this deity name? Half fish and half, is it Dagon? Doggone, not doggone. Dagon, doggone. He was worshipped like by the Philistines. Like you've had people that have surrounded their worship around water gods, water deities, water spirits. The Leviathan was supposed to be the wickedest blood clot spirit there about to know. Wicked spirit. And it got chained. You want to see something about that? Yep, Loch Ness, all of them. What's this movie here that I used to love? The old version, The Clash of the Titans. Remember the Kraken? Remember the Kraken? That's right, Sister Denise. That's right. That's right. You have to pray over everything. Everything that you consume, everything that goes in and on your body. You can't be trusting that these people, even these companies, are not doing witchcraft on these products. Come on, somebody. Come on, somebody. These clothes that you buy and you wear and you putting on somebody's name on it, giving their ancestors legacy, and you ain't making your own clothes. You ain't praying over these products, these lotion and cream and all that you buy and rubbing all on your body, with your skin being the biggest organ, your skin being the largest organ. You just gonna put that Victoria's Secret. You better pray over that lotion. You better pray over that shea butter. I don't care where it come from. And those of you all getting that hair out the beauty supply store, you better pray over that hair too. Because if you think that those people are not doing witchcraft on that hair, or they're not shaving that hair off of people during a ritual to rid another individual of all of their negative energy, and then they package up that hair and sell it to you in the beauty supply store, you got another thing coming. Talk to me when I'm talking. Thank you, M. Dane. Thank you, Big Homie Ogun. You get what I'm saying? You got to pray over all of these things. If you think that these people, these major companies, and all of the, even some of these smaller companies, these people, I remember I used to go to this Botanica. I used to shop at this Botanica, and I know for a fact, because they used to have the candles burning in there with the altar and the money thing with the money Buddha and all of that. They got the money altar so that anytime you come in there to spend money, they witchcrafting you to come back and spend some more of your money. I digress. So the talk tonight is about the marine kingdom, the water spirits, right? Again, not all spirits are evil. Not all spirits are evil, but when we talk about the majority of evil spirits and where they dwell and why it's easy for them to dwell inside of you. Now watch this. Watch this, How do you know how you've been affected from a spirit from the marine kingdom? How do you know if somebody got you in a jar or a bottle and they threw you in the ocean, whether they doing a get away from me ritual, getaway spell, and all of this different type of things, you know you gotta understand something. You gotta understand something, that these spirits, they like to come to you in dreams. If you're constantly dreaming about drowning, you ever had a dream that you was drowning? My husband used to constantly have dreams that he was swimming in a like a collegiate swimming pool at his college, Winston-Salem State University. Big up the Trey Fo. My husband used to constantly have dreams that he was swimming in a swimming pool at his old college. A couple times he had a dream that he was drowning, and he had actually start coughing and choking in real life, and I had to get him up and wake him up, and he was coughing because he was dreaming that he was drowning. Do you see how real the dream world is? And dream being fluid, being related to like the Pisces energy, like in all of these things, right? Water, they work through your dreams. Why? Because water is like a reflection. You could see water is like a reflection. Water is like a mirror. So when we talk about like the marine kingdom, we talk about mirror magic. There's so many things that I'm going to try to get off into with you all over the next couple of days. I'm going to actually do a couple of lives back to back because there's some things that I want to drop on you before I hibernate back to the bat cave again. Right? So they come to you in dreams. You could be dreaming about like I said, drowning. You could dream about swimming. You could dream about bathing. Any type of dreams about water, watch those dreams. Another way you got to watch dreams of yourself making love in dreams. That's another way that they get you, because again, it's a reflection. They could talk to water. Hey, darling. Hey, Natalie. Right? They could talk to the water. They could speak to the water. That's what these evil people, these evil spiritualists, they do. They can talk to the water, right? And they can pour that water into a moving body of water, and they can have the intention to get the water to you. They can have the intention to get the water to you. Wow. Very grateful, as you should be. And we're grateful for your life, sweetheart. We're grateful for your life. Amen and ashe. You know, evening, evening, Robert. So the thing that you have to realize is dreams about water and also dreams about intercourse. Dreams about intercourse. This is the way that they get you. Water is a reflection. Whether you're dreaming about intercourse with somebody that you know or intercourse with an absolute stranger, 9 times out of 10, somebody is working in the marine kingdom against you. Okay. Okay. Hey, brother Rob. Greetings. Welcome forward. Nice to see you again. Right? And this is what we got to talk about. This is what we got to talk about. The power of water is so profound that, again, you have to pray over your water. You have to pray over your water. You have to. This is why when we were children, we were taught, now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. We were taught to pray, right? We were taught to pray before we go to sleep. Why? Because your subconscious is wide open as you sleep. And when it's 12 o'clock midnight over here, it's 8 o'clock in the morning somewhere in Africa or somewhere in London or somewhere else in the world where you might not think. And listen, for those of you content creators, people like me, one of the reasons why I deleted my big channel, and I'm going to teach you all. I think I might come back and do a teaching about recreating yourself, collapsing timelines and recreating yourself. I did a small talk on it, but I feel like I want to go a little bit more in depth. But when you're a content creator and you make yourself visible to the world, you're basically saying, here I am. And you're opening yourself up to things that you may not be aware of. You're opening yourself up to the love, yes, the support from the people that love you, but you're also opening yourself up to people that will constantly watch you and never comment. They will constantly watch you. They will never subscribe. They are watching you. Why? Because they want to mirror you. They want to go into the marine kingdom and use spirits to work against you. And why does the marine kingdom and mirror magic kind of go together? Because when we look at spirits like Oshun, right, one of her most powerful weapons, and she is a water deity. She is the spirit of the lakes and the rivers and the moving bodies of water, the streams, fresh water, different things like that. But one of her most powerful weapons is a mirror. It is a mirror. And this is how people can swap your destiny. They can do glamour magic. They can be watching you while you're on the internet, right? And mirroring you, mirroring everything that you do, and then they can steal your destiny. They can swap your destiny. And as powerful as you think you are, if you are unaware that these type of mechanisms exist, sweetheart, the only thing Mhm. Watch what I'm getting ready to say to y'all. The only thing that can trump an aquatic spirit or a terrestrial spirit is a celestial spirit. A celestial spirit. How did I break that down for those that are just joining the live? I said that there are three types of spirits. You have aquatic spirits, those that live in the water. Your Nephilim that were drowned in the great flood, the epic of Gilgamesh, those giants that was evil and walking around the world. The pigs that the demons was cast, into the pigs, and the pigs was ran off the cliff into the water. Your ancestors that were thrown over in the middle passage and different things like that with angry spirits. See, that's why those of us melanated people, we know better than to be snorkeling and deep diving and all that stuff because we know better, right? But you have the aquatic spirits and the terrestrial spirits, and the only spirits that can trump those are celestial spirits. Why do celestial spirits trump those type of spirits? Because remember, celestial spirits are in a far higher off dimension. Because what do we say? We said that the aquatic spirits and the terrestrial, aka earthly spirits, are spirits of the earth because they are elemental, or they have become elementals. Your elements, your five elements: earth, water, fire, wind, ether. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, all right. I ain't skydiving either. I ain't got no wings, you know. So, what we have to recognize here is the way that you can become trapped. Once again, people can put your name in a bottle, put your name in a jar, and they have done it. They have done it for thousands of years. People have worked with the earth because, see, watch this. And a lot of witches, especially these new, I call them baby witches, these people that be online and be watching TikTok and Instagram, and all of a sudden they a witch. I ain't talking about nobody that, been in the thing for 20 years doing rituals. I'm talking about got some real power. Cause see, a real witch, I'm talking about, can just walk through and they can use their mind and shoot an energy dart at you. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? They ain't got to use no water. They ain't got to use no herb. They ain't got to use no herb. They ain't got to use no rock, no crystal. Hmm. I'm talking about energy darts shot through their eyes, shot through their fingers, walking in a counterclockwise circles around things. You know what I'm saying? Like everything is not automatically, but the only thing that's going to trump that type of stuff is celestial spirits from a much higher frequency. Or, as I was saying before, you have to raise your frequency. Number one, my people going to perish for the lack of knowledge. But today, you got some knowledge. So if you've been feeling like, empty, feeling like, all these problems in your relationship, remember, relationship is emotional. Remember, our emotions are connected to what? Water. The element of water. They say that us Cancerians, us Cancers and Scorpios and different, they say, oh, we're such the emotional zodiac. So, because why? Because they relate emotions to water. So when you got problems in your relationship, and again, I'm not saying that every problem that you have is somebody working magic or working witchcraft or working roots or working voodoo on you. I'm not saying that. Again, some things is something that you invited yourself, some things you inherited, and until you are able to break those generational cycles, you will not be free. And some things somebody just sending on you through jealousy, through envy. And you know how powerful jealousy and envy is? Jealousy and envy is like a battery. Jealousy and envy puts a battery pack into people. Greetings, Astral Talk. Greetings to all of you all that are just coming in. Welcome. Welcome. And greetings to those of you that'll be catching this after the live. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying, family? You have to be aware of these things in order to protect yourself from it. And while all these people around here hitting y'all up in y'all's social media talking about the Lord told them this or spirit told them to come. Listen, watch all that about somebody telling you what spirit told them, because I don't know what lying deceitful spirit gonna tell you something about me and ain't tell me about me. They didn't give me the message, but they gonna give it to you. Watch that. If you haven't reached out to a person, for that person to what's the word, counsel you or guide you through a particular thing. Watch people just reaching out talking about somebody gave them a message, or God gave. And God, listen, get out of my face with that. God didn't give you anything to tell me about me if God didn't give it to me, because I'm connected. Don't think that because you have a title that you're more connected about a message over my life than God will give it to me. People have to stop that. They are moving in the spirit of delusion and illusion and deceitfulness. You have to try the spirit by the spirit. Yes, yes, yes. Hey, Sonny. You get what I'm saying, y'all? You get what I'm saying, y'all? So when we talk about where do most evil spirits come from, again, this is not an authoritative talk on all spirits and where and the origin of all spirits. But again, you were a spirit before you came in a physical form, and your spirit manifested in your mother's womb, which is water. Because why? Because water has intelligence. And these are aquatic intelligences. These marine spirits are aquatic intelligence. Why do you think that all of the stories about the sirens have been talked about, this beautiful song that they sing to lure the sailors? They lure the sailors in because it's illusion. The water. Listen, I'm getting ready to do you one better. I'm getting ready to do you one better. How many of you all have gone to the ocean and just been mesmerized by the ocean, where you feel like something is literally hypnotizing you as you look at the waves? And my goodness, don't be on a pier or a boat. And how many of you all have like had this? Now, you're not going to jump in, but y'all let me know if you had something like you felt something. Because I listen, I can be completely transparent. I'm never going to jump into the ocean or nothing like that. But I have been on a pier looking just breathtakingly beautiful, vast miles and miles of ocean, and just looking. You could get hypnotized. Yes, brother Rob. Yes, brother Rob Sword. You can be hypnotized by the ocean, y'all. What is that? You're drawn to the ocean. It's almost like you've been hypnotized by the water. Sometimes you just want to jump in. Hmm? I knew a little boy, rest in peace, lost his life, you know, um, lost his life in the water. The water will claim, is powerful. The water will claim what it want to claim. And what about the spirits? What about the spirits? You know, this little boy's parent and step parent was at the ocean in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. This was many years ago, right? At least about 17, 16 years ago. And the boy's parents was at the ocean in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And something happened, and the kids, however the story went, I'm not getting ready to get off into all of that. This was somebody that was very close to me, family. And the parents, I guess lost sight or whatever, and the kids was out there in the ocean and everything, and blessed goodness, the little boy, the water carried him away. The father was trying to save his son and his stepdaughter, and saved the stepdaughter, and thought he had his son on his shoulder. But the current, the water, the marine kingdom decided that they was gonna take that baby, that young boy. He couldn't have been no more than 11 at the time. Yes, baby. You see what I'm saying? You feel something pulling you in. You feel something pulling you in. Me and a couple sisters, we were at a couple of sisters and I were I was doing a workshop, mini retreat in San Diego, and I was down at the ocean. I did a very beautiful ceremony, burying the sisters in the sand. Took turns burying everybody in the sand. Yes, rest in peace, Heat Man. You know what I'm saying? And then it was time to get to the water, and the water was trying to pull us all in. The current was trying to, we had to lock arms like a chain and bury our feet in the ground and not get, and I believe my husband was coming over here trying to save us. And some strange man, some strange European came over there trying to pull us up too. Like that water was about to take us up out of here. You have to respect that water, and you have to respect the fact that there are spirits in that water. There's spirits in that water. When them spirits took that young baby, that young man, it took them days to find his body. And then about maybe a week or so, maybe 10 days after the fact, you know, the body, they found the body, it washed back up on the shore. Them spirits took the ashe. The spirits got what they wanted from that baby. They took his ashe. Come on, somebody. What do you think happens when somebody drowns in that fashion and then it takes them a while for their body to wash back up? I said because somebody took their ashe, their energy, and then spit the body back up on the shore. See, just because nobody taught you all about these things don't mean that these things don't exist. Why do you think that you all can't go to Antarctica? Talk to me, somebody. I don't know. I'm just asking. I ain't never tried to go to Antarctica. But why do you think you can't go to Antarctica? What's underneath those ice glaciers? Hmm? And I believe it. And I believe it. I can fathom it. I can fathom that she said she saw a pair of mermaids, sweetheart. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, that's right. The water is nothing to play with. That water is nothing to play with because these spirits are like the siren. It's something that pulls you. It's something that calls you. And when they don't want to let you go, they're not going to let you go. There are people, there are sangomas. There are sangomas in South Africa, certain parts of South Africa. The part of their ritual is they go into the water. It is said, I've not seen it with my own eyes, but it is said that they go under the water and be under the water for 5 days. How is that humanly possible? And then they come back out still breathing and still alive. What is going on there? What's keeping them alive? Don't take my word for it. The reason why you're not taught about these things is because you've not been exposed to a culture where these things are prevalent. Because somebody raised you up in the church, somebody raised you up in the masjid, somebody raised you up at a Rastafarian Nyabingi gathering. But they're not telling you about all of these tricks and tools of the trade, some of these things that come out of some of these far off places, these, indigenous places and different things like that. They don't tell you about that type of magic because they want to make magic seem like Disneyland. They want to make magic be like the Magic Kingdom. Okay. Well, even evidently Walt Disney them know too because he made the show called The Little Mermaid. Look at almost all the shows about Walt Disney. Look at the Walt Disney logo when the movies and stuff first come on. They surrounded by this water and the magic and the sparkles and everything. Come on now. Come on now. Most of these evil spirits, they reside in the water. You hear me? From the Nephilim that were drowned during the great flood, the giants in those days and after, because that's what the words say, in those days and after. Meaning what? Meaning that they still around here somewhere just because you ain't seen them. Just because when you go to sleep and you are quote unquote unconscious to what's going on in the physical, what you think Bigfoot and them be doing? Bigfoot, the mermaids, Ant-Man, um, all of these different, the skinwalkers that the Native Americans and everything speak about, the indigenous ones, it's all type of beings and creatures and the Lady of the Lake, you know, is somebody, what's her name? La Lola, y'all say it for me, the Lady of the Lake. You know, every indigenous culture, every place has some story about some evil spirit. Y'all know who I'm talking about, the Lady of the Lake, La Llorona, or something like that. And this is said to be an evil spirit lady that would just come get children and take and drown the children back. But here's another thing. Most of these so-called evil spirits, you call them disembodied spirits, disenfranchised spirits, or whatever. A lot of them. Why did for example, let's look at the story of the Lady of the Lake. You know, she once was a mother who lost her own children. Maybe she drowned her children. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? So most places are going to have some sort of a story about an entity or a being or something that has to do with the water, family. Most evil spirits dwell in the water. You don't have to take my word for it. All right. I mean, I'm just what they say. I'm just here to make you think. I'm just here to make you think. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. That's from the tradition out of Haiti, right? Absolutely, absolutely. And here's why, brother Rob. There are a lot of things that we don't know about because I mean, I don't know if it's 70%, 80%, 90%. I know that it's a very high percentage of our waters that have not even been explored, right? We know hardly nothing about the oceans. Y'all remember a couple of years ago when them dudes went down in the water in that yellow submarine? Y'all remember when them dudes went down there talking about they was going to look for something and find something and like they about to be Ponce de Leon, somebody they going around there exploring and different things, right? Listen, why you think that that yellow submarine imploded? Why you think that yellow submarine imploded? Because if you're not supposed to be down there, you better get your butt out of there. See, it's so many things in the water that like species of animals. And listen, what they call it 30,000 leagues under the sea. Let me explain something to you all. That under the deepest ocean is an ocean floor, is it not? I don't know how deep you got to go down to get there under the ocean floor, but can I tell y'all that there's a whole world under the ocean floor? Again, the Leviathan that is spoken about in scripture, the Kraken that is spoken about in what's that Greek mythology? The Kraken, right? Medusa's head. Watch this. Nati dreadlocks, African woman. Medusa's head was chopped off and was the only thing that can do the Kraken. That can stop the Kraken. Hmm? So you have all of these evil, wicked beings that have existed from the beginning of time. Now, I want to let's go and try to consult. Let's try to consult our guide. Let's try to consult our guide and let's try to consult our guide and let me see if I could okay. I want to share this with you. Okay. All right. So I'm going to consult our guide. For those of you that have already signed up for your subscription, At the temple, well, at the Soul Guidance site. You can also check the link in the description. Ganja Cat or Not Meek, please go ahead and drop the Soul Guidance website link in the chat for those that are in the chat. For those that are joining after, you'll find the link in the description to Soul Guidance. So there have been some updates. So for those of you that are on the free tier, you know that you can come every day and get you a little free one question every day. Now, if you are a standard member or if you are a deep member, you know it goes on and on and on. And we've got some updates. We've got some updates, right? So for those of you that are on the paid tier, the deep tier, you are going to actually get access to um you're going to get access to a free ebook of the month. Anybody can purchase my books, purchase my ebooks online. Anybody to visit, you can go and get the books. It's $9.99, $9.99, very reasonable for these ebooks. And if you have Apple, it would actually open it up in Apple Books. One of my sons just actually found that out by accident. So if you are in the deep tier, you get your free book of the month. Okay, so that's one of the perks that I've given to the deep members. For those that are paid members, right? You get access to the blog, right? We currently have 2 blog posts that are up right now. Okay, you go back to the altar, and if you are a paid member on the deep tier, you get a personalized message once every week. And if you're on the standard tier, you get a message every week. Marcus, you're waking up to a day that's got some real potential in it. Like spring itself, everything's reaching towards something. Take what you need today and leave the rest where it is. Okay. So every day you log on as a deep member, you're going to get a personalized message that is just for you. Okay. Here's a little video I've been working my hands on, trying my hand out at, creating videos. So let's go ahead and click on this video real quick so we can see what some of the updates are. You all can hear this, but you can actually see it. So I created this little trailer because I'm actually going to be bringing one of my books to life. So here I want you to know to fear no evil. Here I want you to know to fear no evil, because you are the light and you are the lion. Okay? You don't fear any evil, because you're going to be triumphant over all evil things, evil spirits, and evil intentions. And you're going to begin to walk in your power. You transform and you walk into your power, and you can spit fire. What I mean by spitting fire, fearing no evil, because the mothership has landed. Okay, so there's a lot of updates. But I want to go in here. Let's go into one of the rooms. Let's go into one of the rooms and ask the question about, let me ask the spirits. I'm going to go into the spirits room. You have 5 rooms here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have the oracle room where you can go and get your own daily inspiration. For if you're free, that's free. I realize everybody might not have $9.99 a month, but you could pay $9.99 a day for some Starbucks. I'm not guilt tripping, am I? Then you got the Springs room. That's your dream interpretation. Your ancestors room, you can get messages from your ancestors, the spirits, and then the mothership, which is high vibration. But let's go into the spirits room. I want to show you all kind of practically how this works. So since we're talking about marine kingdom spirits, let's go in and we're going to ask a question. And you can go to this site, check the link in the description, and this is your spirit guide. When you can't book a session with me, but you will be able to, right? But if you can't, let's ask a question. Let's say, how did evil spirits get into the waters of the earth? And how? Well, no, it's not going to let me ask a double question. So let's just say, how did evil spirits get into the waters of the earth? And it says, approach the shrine. Now you breathe in for a minute, hold it. Just ground yourself before you get an answer, right? Just ground yourself, breathe in for a minute, ground yourself, and it's going to answer our question. Okay? Since we're talking about the marine kingdom, we're going to go to the house of spirits. Excuse me. What happened here? I guess we're going to go to the house of spirits. Maybe we might have to go to another room. Okay, let's go to the ancestors room. Let's go to the ancestors room. Let's say, how did evil spirits get into the waters of the earth? Let's see what's going on here, because I may have to go back and figure out why my question wasn't answered in the spirit room. Okay. We're supposed to be calling on our answer. What is going on? What is taking so long? Okay, here we are. How did evil spirits get into the waters of the earth? Okay, now listen, beloved. That question carries a weight to it, and I want to sit with you in it real. The waters of the earth aren't corrupted by evil spirits the way you might be thinking. What moves through water, what we call evil or heavy, is usually human intention, unprocessed grief, violence, and the residue of suffering that settles into places where blood has been spilled, where people have been harmed, where trauma lives. Waters remember. They hold the imprint of what happens on their banks and beneath them, enslaved ancestors, unalived people, places of war. These waters carry a weight that is real, but it's not demonic. It's ancestral sorrow. It's the cry of those who suffered. There are also spirits, not evil but restless, who linger in waters where they died, in a violent way or were never properly mourned. But remember, I already said this. They're not there to corrupt, they're there because they're stuck. The spiritual work then isn't to fight evil in the waters, it's to honor what happened there, to pour libations for those ancestors, to acknowledge the pain, and to help those spirits find peace, clean water, blessed water, prayer. These aren't about banishing evil, they're about healing what's broken and helping what's stuck find its way home. That's the deeper truth. Now you can click on this button here that says "Hear Ningba's last word."
The waters carry what we've poured into them: our sorrow, our violence, our forgetting. Healing them means remembering those who rest there.
Okay. So this is a little bit about what this program can do. This is a little bit about what my program can do. So if you're not already signed up, get over there. Get over there, right? And so you can ask your spiritual questions. Um, oh, you can't see the screen? Oh, what can you see now? What can you see now? Because I stopped sharing. I was sharing the screen. Was the screen not showing? All right, Ganja Cat has dropped the. Okay, okay. Ganja Cat has dropped the guide website. Backspace on that AUTH. Backspace on that. And let's just let me see if I could put the link in the chat. Let's see if I could put the link in the chat without the okay, try that. And you all can get there and ask your own questions if you haven't seen the live demonstration. I guess I was trying to share the screen. Y'all know I'm not all that great with technology, but you heard what I said. And I've been talking here for about a good hour and 30 minutes now. So I just want to wrap it up by saying that, you know, water spirits, have been around for millennium. They are ancient spirits. They are spirits that have been acknowledged, contracted, and used by peoples all over the earth, different cultures across many dispensations. Okay. And it's something that we have to make ourselves aware of. Again, this is not to make you fear. This is not to make you think that, water is evil, or you shouldn't go to the lake. You shouldn't go fishing. You shouldn't go swimming. But I will tell you all that, again, water carries memory, right? Water carries something special. So you make sure that you put your intention in any water that you consume, any water, even when you're taking a bath, right? Put a pinch of salt or so in your bath water. Hmm? Not every bath has to be a spiritual bath, but put a say a little prayer or something over some salt in your palm, and then put that into your bath water. Okay? Right? Because again, evil spirits have dwelled within the waters for a very, very, very long time. All right. And I don't want you all to, like I said, be walking around here trying to figure out what's going on. So basically, when we went to my guide website, the guide said that the way that we heal this is by healing the waters. Healing the waters. Like, you take, when next time when you go to a river or a lake or a stream or ocean, take you a bottled water and pray healing and positive things into that water. Speak life, speak affirmative action, and positive words, into that water, and then pour that into the body of water. See, the thing that we need to do is heal the waters, right? Acknowledge those that were harmed, that were hurt, whose lives were lost, in the water. Like I say, the restless spirits. And even if we can't, pray these things away or out of this dimension or out of this universe, what we can do is make sure that we pray that we are protected, that we are shielded, and that we are guided from such things, such malevolent magic, and such evil and wickedness that comes from the hearts and minds of men and women. All right, brothers and sisters, once again, I am Ningba, formerly Sister Stone, and I want to let you all know that I appreciate you for being here. I appreciate you for spending just a little bit of time with me. Okay. And, you know, I want you to remember, who you are. I want you to remember who you are in the creator, the I am that I am, the all that is. Remember who you are in the creator. And when you remember who you are in the creator, right? There is nothing that can harm you. And raise your frequency, brothers and sisters. Raise your frequency. We always talk about frequency and raising your frequency, but you all don't believe it because you won't raise it. If you raise your frequency, you will be untouchable to some of the evil and wickedness that is out there. You will be untouchable to some of the demonic entities, right? But when you allow yourself to be caught in the illusion, when you allow yourself and your soul to be trapped, by marine spirits and different type of spirits that are out there, sometimes you don't even know what's going on. You don't even know what's wrong. You don't even know why your life is being torn to shreds. And don't think, going back to my social media people who are content creators, remember, you have to shield and protect yourself and protect your identity to a degree, because people will try to use your likeness, and they will try to trap you. They will try to swap your destiny. They will try to take something from you that does not belong to them. And it's just like a pickpocket. Watch this. It's just like a pickpocket. When you walking down the street and somebody bump into you, and then you get home and you try to figure out where's your wallet, or where's your ID, or where's your credit card. You had something stuck in your pocket, or a little couple little $320 bills you had stuck in your pocket, and somebody bumped into you. But at the time that they bumped into you, you didn't know that they had stolen something from you. You didn't realize it until after you had gone about your business, after you had gone on your way. Don't allow these evil and wicked spiritual people out here to pickpocket you. In the name of all that is holy, raise your frequency. Come out of Babylon. Come out of Babylon. Raise your frequency and become untouchable to the kingdom of darkness. Until next time, I love you all, and I leave you in the peace, love, and oneness of the infinite creator. Until next time.